Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you guys my What's Better, Raw or Smackdown series, episode 34. And if you've never seen this series before, um, well, to help yourself catch up, click on that playlist right up there. But if you've never seen this series before, I'll explain it. If you don't want to go watch that playlist up there, but even if you don't want to, you should because it's really good. Um, Pretty much this is where I compare both Raw and SmackDown. I review both shows, and then at the end, I compare and say which one's better. Sometimes Raw is better, sometimes SmackDown is better, or there's been cases where both shows have sucked and I've given them a tie. But if both shows are good, or at least one of them's good, you do have to pick a winner. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to structure this video in different takes. In this take, I will be doing the preview for both shows, and then in the next take, I'll be doing my review of Raw. And then in another take, I'll be doing my review of SmackDown. And then in the second to last take, I will be giving my grade of what show was better and, giving my overall thoughts on each show. And then in the last take, I'm going to do all my plugs and stuff. So let's get to this take first. So let's start previewing these shows. Now we're officially um, on the road to SummerSlam. This is one of the big four pay-per-views that the WWE does every year. I would say maybe it's the third biggest show of the year. Um, and yeah, I think this because SmackDown had their final pay-per-view last night, and I really should be more excited than I am, but I'm really not. And I'll explain it more as I do this preview. But let me preview Raw first. So Monday Night Raw, um, I'm sort of looking forward to Raw. I think Raw's actually been pretty good lately. Last week's I thought was pretty average, but it was still passable enough. Um, but I'm looking forward to see what Raw has to bring to the table. I think they've been doing some good stuff with Raw. Um, and they've announced some three matches last week, and we're gonna find out the controversy after what happened on certain things on the show last week. So let me start by previewing Raw. I'm gonna start by previewing the three matches. One match we have a 2-on-3 handicap match: Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus the Miz Taraj. This feud's been building up for a couple of weeks now. But really for a few months, you have Dean Ambrose, who's been feuding with the Miz really all year, and it's a feud that just never ends. We want it to end. Having Seth Rollins in there, I guess, excites it a little bit. They'll obviously possibly teasing a possible Shield reunion. I've been talking about before how I possibly don't really want to see that. So yeah, I guess it's too bad for me. And then I do like the stuff they've been doing with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. How Dean Ambrose won't forgive Seth Rollins, uh, you know, um, for stabbing him in the back. And I like the stuff they've been doing there. But as for the Shield possibly coming back to face the Miz Trials, I think is really stupid. It's just not going to work to get Roman Reigns over as a face. So yeah, that's going to be stupid. Um, but yeah, as for that match, I think that match will be solid. I'm going to say that the Miz Trials wins, and then Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose will have to either get a third guy or they're going to set up a triple threat match and a Continental Championship at SummerSlam. We have a no disqualification match between Finn Balor and Elias Sampson. This has been a decent storyline. You have Finn Balor who interrupted Elias Sampson in an episode of Raw. Sampson thought he was outshowing him, so Sampson took him out backstage. And they've been having some good segments to get decent segments together. Balor beat Sampson a couple of weeks ago on Raw, and then you have Sampson who hit Balor with the guitar last week. The only thing that's really hurt this match is that Finn Balor's already beaten Elias Sampson. I don't know why I should still have an interest in the show, but they're still booking Elias Sampson pretty strong. As for who wins this match, I'm going to actually pick Elias Sampson to win because I think Bray Wyatt's going to interfere and cost Finn Balor the match, kind of start their feud going into SummerSlam. Since it's an ODQ match, I think that makes sense. because Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt I think could have a really good match at SummerSlam. And then we have the main probably the match is going to be the main event of the show, or at least the last match on the show. We have the Raw Women's Championship number one contenders match between Sasha Banks and Bayley, and whoever wins this match will go on to face um, Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. Obviously this match is going to be great. Sasha Banks and Bayley has always have had fantastic matches together. I really wish that this was going to be the SummerSlam match actually instead, with Bayley going in as the champion to face heel Sasha Banks, especially too because it's in Brooklyn where they had their first match back at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. So I wish that was the case, but that's not. Um, and I think Sasha Banks is winning. I think the Bayley over Bayley is going to continue. That I think that sucks, but I think this match will be really good, and it's going to set up the Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. Um, Obviously, other stuff I'm looking forward to on the show. Looking forward to see how they're going to follow up with the whole Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan situation, where Kurt Angle's revealed that Jason Jordan is his son, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do because obviously I did watch the main event last week since Roman Reigns was in it. But I guess I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do to set up for the WWE Universal Championship match. Looks like they're going to set up a fatal four-way match between Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship. However, if Roman Reigns is on tonight, everybody knows I won't be watching. The protest continues. What else is going to be on Raw tonight that looks decent? I can't think of really anything else. So that's the main stuff on Raw. Raw's got some things that I'm interested in. And I hope Raw is good because, I've been after watching Battleground last night. That atrocity of a pay per view, and then after watching the shitty ass GFW Impact Wrestling's, they just did. Which, if you want to check out my reviews, click on that link up there, and also while you're there, subscribe to my Wrestling Fortune 44 channel, and click on the bell, so that way every time I post a video on there, you'll get the notification for it. But yeah, I'm not looking forward. But yeah, so I need Raw to be good because I'm in a shitty ass mood because of Battleground and because I just watched shitty ass GFW Impact Wrestling. I'm gonna try to watch another wrestling show to get me in a better mood. But now let me preview Smackdown for this week. Smackdown for this week. Ooh, see, it's so tough to watch Smackdown lately. I've talked about this last week, I think. Smackdown's fallen foe. Smackdown, when this show originally started off, was beaten Raw every single week. When it came to this series, and now every week I think Raw beats SmackDown now. SmackDown's really fallen. Um, I definitely think that the WWE did a superstar shakeup after WrestleMania because SmackDown was beaten Raw. It was better than Raw, and WWE was upset about it, so they fucked over SmackDown. I don't even think it's really an opinion anymore. I think it's fact at this point. And you can't tell me from what you've seen happen the past few months and tell me that's exactly what the WWE did. Because they put the damn championship on Jinder Mahal. Obviously they're trying to expand into India. There's other ways to do that other than put a title onto somebody that's been a jobber for 6 weeks. And look what happened when you put the damn title on him. SmackDown's lost weigh-ins, and he's a shit WWE champion. Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, Dolph Ziggler, all these guys that have so much talent either don't get featured properly or they'll get no TV time at all. The U.S. Championship's a fucking potato. It just bounces around next to every guy, and then you have the SmackDown tag division that's pretty stagnant. That's actually improved. Breezango's story. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the Fashion Files this week. I'm looking forward to see how they're going to follow up that fantastic SmackDown Tag Team Championship match at Battleground. But yeah, um, SmackDown's been crap lately, and I think it's just going to continue. If SmackDown continues in this road, and just fuck the brand split and just have both brands come together again because it's getting to the point where if Jinder Mahal can win a world title, then the brand split's failing Because think about it, if there was no brand split, Jinder Mahal would not have won a world championship. I fully believe that. Um, but let's hope SmackDown can deliver somewhat of a good show. I'm asking for something for SmackDown because SmackDown's just getting brutal to watch. Um, I'm trying to think what to expect on SmackDown. Obviously, we're going to have the return of the great fucking Khali. Um, yeah, the great Khali is returning to SmackDown. Makes me not want to watch SmackDown at all. Then you have obviously they're gonna probably build to a match between him and Randy Orton that nobody wants to see. They're probably gonna start to build into Jinder Mahal versus John Cena, and I'm gonna say this: John Cena, backstage politic time, time to bury Jinder Mahal. Thank you. Uh, the rematch between Kevin Owens and AJ Styles for the U.S. title. Nakamura, Baron Corbin. They didn't have a bad match at not Money in the Bank. Battleground. And then what else do I expect on SmackDown this week? Probably some lame crap with Mike Kanellis and Sami Zayn. I don't even give a shit about that. They're gonna probably try to build to the SmackDown Women's Title match between Naomi and Natalya. That would be all right. Yeah, SmackDown's not interested in SmackDown at all this week. So yeah, let's find out which show ends up being better. Some tells me Raw is gonna be better just because SmackDown's crap. So yeah. Um, I hope you guys enjoy the shows tonight, and I'll be back later on tonight to give you guys my review of Monday Night Raw. Okay, so I'm back. It's now Sunday, July 30th, 2017. And yeah, pretty much, you know, I know I was supposed to have this video done by now, but what happened pretty much was I got busy this week and it just happened. I had worked Tuesday and then Tuesday night because Battleground was so god awful, I really had no interest in watching SmackDown. I already know what happened on SmackDown because my friend spoiled it, which sucks. Um, but yeah, I just went to my friend's house and just hung out because I just had no desire to watch SmackDown. Which, when I actually review that part of the show, it's gonna prove me right because the one time I decided not to watch SmackDown, the feeling like here it was amazing. Um, Maybe this is why WWE should book better shows. It seems like the shows that I miss, I end up being crap. Well, end up being good, like really good. It makes no sense. Um, you could say, well, that's your fault for not watching it, but like when you get into a pattern of being crap for a few weeks, you start to think that it's gonna be crap. So why don't stop booking better shows? This is the reason you should. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I didn't feel like making a video. Wednesday, I had been tired from work and being at my friends, so I wanted just to chill. And I'm trying to remember why I didn't do a video Thursday. I don't really remember why I didn't do a video Thursday. Friday, went to the beach. And then while I did do some video, obviously Saturday, I did some videos. It just wasn't based on professional wrestling. So I'm here to give you guys my actual Raw review portion of the video. I'm sorry it took so long. So let's start talking about it. I'm just going to talk about, just go off right off the top of my head, talk about the things I like, the things I don't like. Obviously, even though I didn't see the whole segment because Roman Reigns was in it, I liked the segment where they set up the fatal four-way match for the WWE Universal Championship between and you know they followed right up with it. I thought that was good. You had you find out that the fatal four-way match is going to be between WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns. Everybody came out and made a case about why they should, be in the WWE Universal Championship match. I thought Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe were very good, and obviously I missed Roman Reigns' part. So then, Kurt Angle made the Fatal 4 match for the WWE Universal Championship. Even though I missed the segment, I know the fact. I knew the fact that the Fatal 4 was coming because of the way it's been building up the past few weeks. And I like that they're going to do this Fatal 4-Way match. I think this Fatal 4 match is going to be tremendous. It's just four huge dudes going after the WWE Universal Championship. It's a different type of matchup. We're normally seeing like the small guys now going after the championship. This is just big dudes going after the WWE Universal Championship. You have Samoa Joe, who's got a little bit of mixture of the indie wrestling in him. Brock Lesnar, who's a beast. Braun Strowman, who's a beast. Obviously, you have Samoa Joe, who's a beast too, and you have Roman Reigns, who's the big dog. Obviously, kind of you can say that it makes no sense that Roman Reigns is in this match, considering the fact that he hasn't won a pay-per-view match since WrestleMania. So it makes no sense, but whatever. Um, and afterwards, apparently, they got into a big brawl where actually Braun Strowman stood tall, which is cool. And I really do hope that at SummerSlam, Braun Strowman will be the new WWE Universal Champion. Um, I hope that Braun Strowman does win this match. I think it's time for him. He's been pushed so well. He's really getting over, and I think it's time to put the strap on him. And this is the way to do that without having him actually wanting to beat Brock Lesnar, because we don't really know what Brock Lesnar's WWE career is looking like from now going into WrestleMania, because of all the rumors going around talking about how he wants to, go back and fight in the UFC again. And obviously now we have I forget it, I don't know his exact name, but I think his name is John Jones, who's recently just called out Brock Lesnar at a UFC fight. So it looks like that maybe Brock Lesnar will be going back to fight in the UFC. And it could just be a one-time thing like it was last year, but we don't necessarily know that. Samoa Joe, it would be really cool if he won and made him look really strong. It would really validate a push for him. Roman Reigns, no one really wants to see Roman Reigns win this match. Just going to be honest, it's not because obviously it's because people hate Roman Reigns. But if Roman Reigns won this match, it would just kind of go back to being the same predictable crap. And I would pretty much not. I wouldn't get to see the WWE Universal Championship like even more than I'm already not now, since Brock Lesnar wasn't on the show this week. This past week, I wouldn't see it at all with Roman Reigns on it. So yeah, and then so hopefully Roman Reigns does not walk out with the WWE Universal Championship. It should either be Braun Strowman or Samoa Joe. Most likely Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe. He is getting over, but his time can wait. I do think, and I do kind of like that they meshed all these feuds together, because you really couldn't go back at SummerSlam and do another match between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. And then, I guess you could have done another match between Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe, but this way, this keeps Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar feuding together. This keeps, Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman feuding together. And I do hope that at SummerSlam, like I said, though, we do have a new WWE Universal Champion in Braun Strowman. So we're going to have to wait and see on that. Other stuff I liked on this show is I liked the no disqualification match between Finn Balor and Elias Sampson. The only question I have, though, is really, why was this a no disqualification match? It really didn't need to be a no disqualification match up to the finish. Yes, they used the chair and stuff, but they really didn't utilize the stipulation all that much. I'm starting to, Elias Sampson's starting to become a pleasure to watch. I like his whole gimmick, and I like his wrestling. I think he's got some really nice hard-hitting moves. The finish comes, though, when Finn Balor hits the coup de grace on Elias Sampson, but then Bray Wyatt's thing goes off, and he appears in the ring. He lays out Finn Balor with Sister Abigail, and then Elias Sampson takes advantage and pins Finn Balor. Elias Sampson goes over, and afterwards Bray Wyatt does his exorcism walk. I'm fine with this. This is a way for Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt to start their feud, because they really haven't been able to start it. Only question I have is, why are they feuding? They really haven't given us an explanation about why they're feuding. They're just feuding just for the sake of it, so I don't like that. But I can't wait to see the match at SummerSlam, the Demon versus, the God, the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, the new face of fear. I can't wait to see, the entrance and stuff that they do for that match. And I like that you had Elias Sampson win, but you didn't make Finn Balor look weak because there was interference. And obviously, it seems like the WWE is really behind Elias Sampson. So I expect them to have some sort of match at SummerSlam. I'm not sure what match that would be. Um, so then, what else? Um, Trying to think of something else I liked on the show. I liked the Raw Women's Championship #1 contenders match where the winner's gonna go face Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam for the Raw Women's Championship. Um, Yeah, it's Bayley versus Sasha Banks. I kind of like how Alexa Bliss earlier in an interview tried to tease tension between Bayley and Sasha Banks, by saying that if Sasha Banks loses, she has to sit down and watch SummerSlam at her home on the WWE Network, where she has this big ego thinking that she's the best, and she has to watch, of all people, Bayley take the spotlight. Then Bayley, if she loses, she has to watch Sasha Banks take a spotlight yet again and cry and eat Twinkies. But it says that, so the real winner is her because no matter what, I'm gonna walk out at SummerSlam with my Raw Women's Championship. And then later on, they have like a little altercation later on in the night saying that who's gonna win. I thought that was nice. I like the match that they had. Obviously, this isn't the best match they ever had. That distinction goes to NXT Takeover Brooklyn, the one back in 2015. That will always be the best match. I don't think they'll ever top that match unless like I just don't think that match is ever going to get topped. But this was still a pretty good match here. I thought this was actually a really good match. I really enjoyed it. And they both really went back and forth towards each other. And I thought they were pulling out some nice new maneuvers. I like the bank statement, and then I always love it when Bayley's about to get to the ropes and Sasha Banks bounces back with the feet and just puts her right back in the move. I always love that spot, and I love the spot where Bayley slaps Sasha Banks, and then they realize they have to put friendship aside to fight to get this WWE Raw Women's Championship match, and then they just both really start going after each other. Then eventually the finish comes where Sasha Banks hits the frog splash. She goes for the cover, but then Bayley rolls her over into another pin for the win, and Bayley becomes the new Raw Women's Champion. This was kind of odd. I didn't hate it, but it was really weird because you have Bayley who's been getting buried like the past month, and now she's all of a sudden the #1 contender to the Raw Women's Championship. I thought the story worked better with Sasha Banks since she's technically the feud between Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks really isn't done. They have more stuff to do. And, you have Sasha Banks who had the story talking about how she has never won a match in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's always been like bad luck for her since she lost the NXT Women's Championship at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. And then she lost the Raw Women's Championship last year to Charlotte Flair. So it makes no sense why Bayley won in a sense. But afterwards, she has a face off with Alexa Bliss. What I am and I just don't really have much of an interest to seeing Bayley and Alexa Bliss feud again, especially if it's going to lead to segments like the "This Is Your Life" segment was. That was awful. So hopefully, that none of that happens. Yeah, and the one thing I hope comes good out of this is you can maybe build Bayley back up finally. You could finally have vindication, and finally revive her, from being buried and kind of reestablish Bayley again by having her win this Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam, but time will only tell. I don't know I feel like the damage has been done with Bayley, but we're going to have to wait and see. Um, Another thing I liked on Raw was the stuff they did with the tag teams. You had the Revival come out and talk about how they're the best tag team on this planet, how they've taken out the New Day and sent them packing to SmackDown, how you know they they beat the Hardy Boys, and how how Enzo and Big Cass were so afraid of them that they ended up breaking up as a team, and then they talk about how they're going to be the next Raw Tag Team Champions, and then Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson come out and pretty much said that they did everything first. And they actually kind of act like a face team here. They talk trash to them, saying that they're not the top guys, they're the top nerds. And I liked it. It was good. Gallows and Anderson acted like baby faces here, which I don't know if this was a face turn or if they just wanted like to have a face team because they were having a match together, so they didn't want to make it seem like they were both heels. But I liked this. I liked the match. It was a pretty good match. Obviously, if they were given more time and stuff, they could probably have a better match. The Hardy Boys come out. They distract both teams pretty much. And the Revival win by when they hit the Shadow Machine on Carl Anderson for the win. And afterwards, the Hardy Boys attack the Revival, and Jeff Hardy goes for the Swanton Bomb on, I believe, Dawson. I don't remember exactly who it was. And Dash pulls him out of the ring. And yeah, you saw two backstage. You saw Cesaro and Sheamus watching this match from backstage. So I don't know if this is built into a four-way match at SummerSlam for the Raw Tag Team Championships. But yeah, I just don't know. Um, Another thing I liked on Raw this week was the cruiserweight segment, which is kind of weird that because normally it ends up being like one of the lowlights of the show. Well, it wasn't one of the lowlights, but I still thought this was pretty good stuff. You had Akira Tozawa won a rematch with Arya Daivari after he's just been injuring him all week last week. And Titus O'Neil comes up and just tells him that he had the match get canceled because of Akira Tozawa's health. So Akira Tozawa's upset about this. He goes to the ring with Titus O'Neil and he has Titus back off and he calls out Akira Tozawa. And instead, Neville comes out and Neville talks about how Akira Tozawa has just become broken and has shattered has shattered confidence as what he once had. How he's just brutalized Akira Tozawa, and he's just become a shell of the man he used to be. He talked about how he tried to warn him about Titus O'Neil, and Akira Tozawa's finally heard enough. He attacks Neville. He hits the senton bomb off the top turnbuckle, and afterwards, Arya Daivari comes out and takes out Akira Tozawa, hits the hammerlock clothesline, and then he hits the hammerlock clothesline on Neville, and then he holds up the Cruiserweight Championship. So I don't know if they're setting up for a three-way match. This set up a lower match on 205 Live that's already happened that I will review later on today between Neville and Arya Daivari. Hopefully Neville wins that match because Arya Daivari has no business winning that match. I did enjoy this segment up until Arya Daivari came out. His appearance was just very odd. But I like that the cruiserweights actually got a segment. I like that the cruiserweights don't have the ropes anymore. Well, the purple ropes that they just stay red now. I'm fine with it happening on 205 Live because that's their own show. But here, it actually makes it feel like the cruiserweight's a little bit more part of the show. There's still things that they need to do. They need to stop having like the purple lighted and stuff and just kind of let it be a part of Raw. So that's my thoughts there. But yeah, definitely Neville. I'm glad to see him back in the swing of things. He was definitely missed last week when it came down to the cruiserweight division. So I'm glad he's back this week. I wonder if he was just like doing an NXT show or something because I remember they were advertising that their NXT live event commercials. I'm just gonna go over something I didn't like. What was the point of having Emma get squashed by Nia Jax? It was just pointless, meant nothing. I did like the backstage segment though, where she pretty much said that she would just date Jason Jordan just to get a tent notice, and Kurt Angle put her in that match. I wonder if it's going to lead to something in the future where Kurt Angle is putting superstars in matches just because they say stuff about his son. So yeah, um, really didn't care much for like the handicap match. The match itself wasn't bad. I just didn't really care for the booking. I like the segment setting up to it between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, where Rollins talks about how they need to have a game plan, and Ambrose says that he doesn't need a game plan. And Rollins like, well, look, we got to worry about three guys tonight, and we need to have a plan. And Ambrose like, well, yeah, you may only have to worry about three guys, but I got to worry about four. Still teasing the tension between them. Um, and then you had the backstage segment with the Miz pretty much making fun of movies about how they're made nowadays and stuff. It was all right. And we had the handicap match. It was an all right match. Ambrose and Rollins won when I believe Ambrose hit the Dirty Deeds on one of them. I forget now who for the win. Really didn't make any sense. Why would you have the Miz Tuas lose? They're supposed to be built up as a credible faction, and everybody wants the Shield to reunite. What's the point of the Shield reuniting? Ambrose and Rollins pretty much proven that they're a viable team without Roman Reigns, so there's really no point of having the Shield reunite. And then obviously there's been rumors now that Ambrose and Rollins are going to go for the Raw Tag Team Championships against Cesaro and Sheamus. I wouldn't mind seeing that match. I think they should turn Dean Ambrose heel. I think he needs to turn heel more than the Shield reuniting. Because Dean Ambrose, I don't like what's going to change about him that wouldn't. I don't know. We have to wait and see. And then we had, I also didn't really care like why did they just have Enzo Amore just get like squashed by Big Cass again? What was the point of that? Like, there's no point. You did that already. It was nothing new. I did like the attack that he did on the Big Show afterwards. That was fine, but I didn't really see the point of that. I wish they'd maybe done a little bit more of a follow up between Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle. They didn't really see each other this week. Um, Instead of having Jason Jordan wrestle a match, he wrestled Kurt Hawkins. They built up pretty heavily to that match. How Kurt Angle was nervous, Jason Jordan was nervous, and then eventually Jason Jordan just beats him with a lift up neck breaker. Yeah, Jason Jordan wins his first Raw debut, which was good. I like that they built up to it throughout the night. The only question I have though is I feel like they should have utilized him a little bit better than just having him wrestle a match on Raw. I wish they had like a vignette where Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan like did like a vignette together trying to get to know each other instead of that, but whatever. I think that's it for Raw though. Nothing else really to mention. Because I think I covered everything. Um, yeah, everything I covered everything. Um, Overall, I thought the Raw was a good show. I like the way they progressed to the SummerSlam matches by having the announcement for the WWE Universal Championship match. The Raw Women's Title stuff was pretty good. And I thought the Finn Balor Elias Sampson match was good. And I like this segment with the cruiserweights. So overall, I thought Raw was a good show. Wasn't a perfect show, but I thought it was a good show. If I had to rate it, I'll probably rate it a 7 out of 10, just good. There was some booking decisions and stuff I didn't agree with, and little things I didn't agree with. But I enjoyed watching Raw. And now that I've watched Raw, let me go watch SmackDown. Okay, so now on to SmackDown. So, like I said, I was surprisingly thought that this SmackDown was really good. It had some really good stuff on it. It was actually better than Raw this week. Spoiler alert. And I'll talk about why when I get go through this video more. So let me start talking about the stuff that I liked on that I didn't like on SmackDown because the negatives there really isn't a lot. I didn't care that they didn't really follow up the fashion files from Money in the Bank. If I'm not mistaken, those were supposed to have taken place. There was supposed to be like another episode on SmackDown, and it didn't happen. So that was weird. I didn't like the tag team match. Well, I mean, I didn't mind the match, but I didn't like the finish, and I didn't like what happened. But It was the tag team match with Aiden English and Mike Kanellis with Maria Kanellis ringside versus Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger. I do like the team up of Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger. I think that's pretty cool. I like the fact that Ty Dillinger's getting television time again. And I like Aiden English. I like that he kind of went back to his old gimmick of what he was down at NXT before he teamed up with Simon Goss as a member and became the Vaudevillains. Um, and I like the way that he like introduced Mike Kanellis. The match was just there though. I didn't like the finish. So you have the finish where Ty Dillinger like pushes both of them like into the corner, and Sami Zayn hits the haluva kick onto Mike Kanellis. But what I didn't like about it was Mike Kanellis. No move had really happened. We just pretty much stood there in the corner and just took this move. It really was stupid. It didn't really make any sense. Um, yeah, and Sami Zayn wins. Well, Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger win. I also didn't like the fact that Mike Kanellis took the pin. He's a new superstar and he's taking the pin. But like I said, they've already messed up his gimmick enough and stuff, and always messed him up with the gimmick that he has, so it really doesn't matter. Um, yeah, and those are just two feuds I don't care that much about. Ty Dillinger and Aiden English just have matches, so there's no really story behind it. And Sami Zayn and Ty Dillinger's just a goofy feud. And then I also didn't like the other tag team match on this show. It was the women's tag team match between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch versus Tamina Snuka and Lana. It was just a pretty basic tag match. You have Tamina Snuka and Lana who both can't wrestle, so they're both on the same team. And the worst, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch got the victory when Charlotte Flair hit a big boot on Lana for the win, and afterwards Tamina Snuka was all pissed about it. So yeah, I don't know what they're going for there. It was stupid. Trying to think of other things I didn't like on SmackDown this week. Yeah, I think that was really it. There really wasn't anything else I really hated on SmackDown. There's other things, but I'll talk about them. So something I liked on SmackDown was the way what they did with the tag teams on the show. The New Day came out. They were supposed to have like a big celebration. Um, and after winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at Battleground, and they even do their intro where Big E does like the introduction, saying, "Oh, whatever city they're at, don't you dare be sour." And then like you hear like eventually you hear someone get like jump them, and the Usos just beat the crap out of the New Day, and I thought that was very good. It was just nice, simple stuff, and it was good. I liked how they followed up with it. Um, and I can't wait to see the rematch between the Usos and the New Day. I hope they have a stipulation match, maybe like a no disqualification match, TLC match, something like that. Um, so I think SmackDown, since SmackDown's not getting the TLC pay per view this time, I think they should have like a big TLC match at like a SummerSlam or something. And then yeah, I liked that. So I thought that was just some good simple stuff. I did like the match this time. Well, between Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin. I thought this match was better than the Battleground match, which made me wish that this was the match they had. I thought they just clicked pretty well together in this match, and Shinsuke Nakamura looked pretty dominant. I especially like when he went for the Keem Sasha outside the win, and Corbin just caught him with a clothesline. So there was some nice stuff on the show. I mean, in this match, and eventually Shinsuke Nakamura beats him with the Keem Sasha. He kind of hit it weird though, but it was you know, I thought a pretty good you know, uh, match there. The only thing I don't like is what was the point of doing the finish that you did at Battleground if you were just gonna come right back on SmackDown and do this finish? That didn't make any sense. Um, and then another thing I liked is how they built up to the SmackDown Women's Championship match for SummerSlam. You have Naomi talking about how Natalia about how she didn't shake her hand, and Natalia walks up and talks about how Naomi has pretty much ruined any prestige that the SmackDown Women's Championship had by making it into a toy. And she says that when she wins that SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam, she's gonna bring prestige back to the championship. Naomi talks about how she fought and earned the SmackDown Women's Championship, and she gave it her little flavor. Then she walks away, and afterwards, Carmella walks up, and Carmella says that I could be the Smack. Pretty much teases that she could be cashing in. It was kind of corny, and it was pretty much the same thing she did last week. Um, Pretty much without James Ellsworth, Carmella really doesn't have a lot of steam. So once James Ellsworth comes back, I think like they'll feature him more, which is pretty sad because not Carmella is the SmackDown Women's Money in the Bank contract holder, and you're having to not really get featured at all, so that's just stupid. And then we had but yeah, I did like the segment, and I did like the what they did with Natalia and then Naomi build up, and I would like to see Natalia get one final big one as SmackDown Women's Champion because uh, if she wins that SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam, it would be vindication for it would be just kind of like after everything Natalia's gone through, it would be a nice moment for Natalia, and then yeah, and then what else? Then I also thought this was very solid. The Jinder Mahal demanding a opponent for SummerSlam. He talks about how he destroyed Randy Orton in the Punjabi prison match. No great Khali. Really didn't make any sense. He showed up at Battleground and he was not on the show. I don't know if that was just a one-off appearance now that watching the show, but he talks about how he's going to hold the WWE Championship for as long as he wants, and he wants to see what worthy contenders going to attempt to take the title from him at SummerSlam. Out comes John Felix Anthony Cena, and before he can say anything, Jinder Mahal cuts him off and says, "Yeah, I know what you're going to say. You're going to pretty much tell me how you hated the fact that I cheated to retain my championship, and how I'm a disgrace to my 1.3 billion people, and how I took means." But said Johnson then says, no. He says that he respects Jinder Mahal about the work that he put in to get the championship. And the way that he showed that he's willing to do whatever it takes to keep it. So we congratulate him, and he also lets Jinder Mahal know that he's no matter that he's coming for Jinder Mahal's WWE Championship. And he says that he's going to Jinder Mahal can throw whoever he can at him, but there'll be no match for Super Cena. And then he leaves. And I thought it was nice. It was just um, a simple promo, nice to the point. And but that wasn't it. Daniel Bryan comes out and announces that next week, which is this week, John Cena is going to face Shinsuke Nakamura, and whoever wins that match will face Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. I don't really get why we're getting that match on a SmackDown when it should be safe for a pay-per-view, but at this point, SmackDown's just so bad that they need to do stuff like this, and it builds interest for people to want to watch SmackDown. Daniel Bryan, though, really just serves no purpose now as being the SmackDown general manager. Now you have The Miz gone. He's not even feuding with him. Now he doesn't have Talking Smack. James Ellsworth is gone. So I don't really see much of a point anymore of having Daniel Bryan as the SmackDown general manager. So, yeah, it's kind of run its course at this point. I think SmackDown needs to change up their authority figures. And then afterwards, Shinsuke Nakamura gets interviewed. And he says that next week John Cena won't see him because he's going to see Jinder Mahal and take the WWE Championship from him at SummerSlam. I mean, Shinsuke Nakamura can't talk, but his promo here wasn't too bad because he didn't really have a whole lot to say. So, but they should still not have him talk. And then we had the best thing on the show. This is pretty much took up the last stuff on the show. Is earlier in the show, Kevin Owens came out and bragged about how he regained his United States Championship from AJ Styles at Battleground, and he talks about how how now he's going to reinstate the Kevin Owens United States Championship Open Challenge. So AJ Styles comes out, but he says he's going to be staying next week because he's not going to defend it against all these pathetic people in Richmond, Virginia. So AJ Styles comes out and says that he wants his rematch for the championship. Kevin Owens says no. And then Chris Jericho comes out, which was a huge surprise. But since I got spoiled, it wasn't a surprise to me. And he had a new haircut, which looks pretty cool. And he announces that he wants to go after Kevin Owens' U.S. championship. You know how he's had to heal himself from his injury from when he was first from his debut on SmackDown, even though it really wasn't his debut, but they like to say that. So AJ Styles thinks he should get a title shot. So Chris Jericho puts him on the list for thinking that he deserves a U.S. title match more than him. So then what happens is Shane McMahon comes out and he announces that Kevin Owens is going to defend his United States Championship in a triple threat match against AJ Styles and Chris Jericho in the main event of SmackDown. So then later on in the night, Kevin Owens is talking about how him and Shane McMahon don't like each other. And he said that it's not fair that he has to defend his title because he could lose the title without being pinned. But Shane McMahon says that he doesn't care because he's trying to give the SmackDown Live audience the match that the match they deserve, and how he talks about how Jericho and Styles deserve a rematch, and Owens then says, "I don't care about the WWE universe." And then we had the match, and it was a great match. Styles and Owens pick apart Kevin Owens. No, Styles and Jericho pick apart Kevin Owens, and they double team him. Then they start going at it themselves, and then Owens gains control. He pretty much attacks Styles, and he goes out and gets some offense on Jericho every now and then. And then the match just really starts to get going. Styles and Jericho both start beating up Owens. Owens hit a senton and a leg drop on AJ Styles. There was a spot where AJ Styles hit the Pele kick. Jericho hit the Enziguri. Owens hit the super kick, and it just went into a big cycle. Styles hit a springboard 450. Jericho went for the superplex, but Owens picked him up like he was going to give him an electric chair, and Styles Jericho just pushed Styles off the turnbuckle. I thought that was a nice touch, and he gets him into the walls. And then Styles tries to come in and break it up. Jericho just hits a code breaker on him, covers him. Styles kicks out. And then eventually the finish comes when Styles goes for a springboard forearm, and Jericho hits a drop kick, and then eventually Owens hits a super kick on Jericho. He hits the pump up power bomb on him, and he covers him. Jericho kicks out. Then he hits the frog splash, goes for the cover. Styles throws him out of the ring, covers Jericho, and gets the win, and he becomes a two-time United States champion. Really doesn't make any sense. You just had him lose the championship at Battleground, gave it to Kevin Owens just to give it right back to AJ Styles on SmackDown like 2 days later. Like, what are they doing with these championship changes? Like, this is like Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair did it. The Miz and Dolph Ziggler did it. Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe did it. Now it's this feud that's doing it. But there's just been so many championship changes this year. It's kind of a problem that you have when you have a lot of championships in WWE. You know, on the main roster alone, you have the WWE Championship, you have the United States Championship, you have the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and you have the SmackDown Women's Championship. On the Raw side, you have the Universal Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, the Raw Women's and the Raw Tag Team Championships, and then the Cruiserweight Championship. But I still don't think that's really much of an excuse because you have Neville, who's held on to that Cruiserweight Championship since the Royal Rumble. Like, just have long reigning champions. Really isn't all that hard. But yeah, so Styles regains his championship. At least, if anything, Jericho at least was there, so that way he could take the pin, so Owens wouldn't have to look bad. But afterwards, he throws a tyrant. He throws a bunch of crap around the steps, steel chair, and he gets on the mic and talks about how it wasn't fair that he had to defend his title and how Styles stole his victory and how Jericho returned. So he says that he's invoking he pretty much demands that he invokes his rematch clause next week, and he's going to take back his United States Championship. And afterwards, the show goes off the air. And yeah, I thought Owens' promo was great. And I thought SmackDown was a really good show. The only thing that bugged me was about those things, and what really bugs me about it was I felt like I should have paid money actually for this show instead of Battleground 2 days earlier, because Battleground was crap. And you have this show here that was actually pay-per-view quality, and it wasn't pay-per-view quality, but I would have rather paid for this show than I would have Battleground. Um, and it just didn't happen that way. You had that triple threat match that was really fantastic. You had the Jinder Cena promo, and even though I don't like Jinder Mahal's WWE Championship reign, I thought he delivered a good promo there. And obviously, I'm also happy because it's coming. Cena's going to get number 17, and he's going to bury Jinder Mahal and bury the Maharaja. And then I also liked the stuff they did with the SmackDown Tag Team division. And I thought SmackDown was a really good show. If I had to rate it, I'll probably rate it a 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really good. So that's my thoughts there on SmackDown. So overall, as everyone sees, that SmackDown won. I thought SmackDown just performed a better show. Wasn't that Raw performed a bad show, but you had SmackDown that just had better matches, better segments. And, you had the return of Chris Jericho. SmackDown also had some, like I said, better matches, better segments. Yeah, I just thought they announced more things in advance for next week's show. We're getting Cena versus Nakamura and Owens versus Styles. So I thought SmackDown advanced in storylines a little bit better than Raw did. Yeah, that's my thoughts there. Okay, thank you guys for watching this video, and that's pretty much it. Please make sure to subscribe to my Wrestling Fortune 44 No One Talking Native YouTube channels. I just uploaded a video on my own Talking Native YouTube channels not that long ago. And make sure that when you subscribe to those channels, you click on the bell. So that way, every time I upload a video on those channels, you'll get the notification for it. Make sure you also subscribe to this channel for future content, and you click on the bell. So that way, every time I upload a video here, you'll get the notifications for it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.